just a reason for me to not chat shit about anyone.
Indeed, always good to know to not trash talk too much. Right.
Fucking garbage player. Yeah,
indeed. Alright, so you had like your team was like just starting to play together this time. This was like a 4.1k ish scrim, or
it's attack.
This was 4.1, 4.2k.
Alright. So we're gonna like.
Hold on, do you want me to listen to the comms as well?
Yeah, you can put the sound on. It automatically puts it silent.
So look, I'm gonna stand in the doorway, right? I'm just gonna shoot the door.
This is
like
super
10
big
minutes,
brain.
They're gonna be like, what?
Only if you get it well.
Bastion, right?
You know what you could do?
Last 5 seconds.
Make it seem like you're playing a hero that might actually change a thing or two. So if you're playing with Summer Goats in this case, swap the Diva, make them think you have Diva, aka no Summer Goats.
Oh, that's smart. That's bigger brain than going Bastion. Oh
Indeed, that's actually feasible. Right, so we take the fire strike.
Exactly, they prepared for the Bastion. I'm telling you.
Right, so this is going to be an interesting first engagement. Like, we see that they're using some things, there's self-bubble.
Where did you see this?
So here we have to be a bit careful, because we instantly got, like, they used both bubbles, but ours used our team bubble really early, so we can't really engage yet, and as you saw, you also got armor packed quite early. So you can't really look to engage this one quite yet.
In my mind.
And one thing as well, like, you're not holding corners too effectively, so ideally you want to, like, really hold around this corner like you're almost doing right now, to make sure that you cannot really get discorded and damaged. Instead, we take the armor pack, we take team bubble, and then we stand in main and go for the right side, in which case we always have line of sight with them, and we take a lot of damage, and we don't have resources to help each other out.
Yeah, cleansing Discord.
Cleansing Discord, like this is kind of okay. Discord is just like cleansed now.
Ryan hacked. I need to heal up before I can go in.
This is kind of unlucky, because one thing you definitely want to keep in mind if you're playing with Summer Goats, it's like kind of good surely, but you want to keep in mind that you cannot like eat fire strikes and spam damage all the time, so you want to be very mindful of those and Zarya right clicks. Also means that you have to play super effectively around your hack, because in this case you get like a good hack on the Reinhardt, which is nice. Like traditionally a hack with the Diva or Reinhardt in the Summer Goats is just super valuable. Yeah. But in this case, as you see, you can't really follow up on it because you're forced to hold up a shield with like 200 HP, which is the best thing you can do in that situation, but you want to make sure you do not take that damage so that when the hack actually lands, then you can actually move in. Because right now the hack just kind of wears out and we're not doing anything with it, and we even lose one in the process. And in the absence of Diva, like if you're forced to wait around and just like take poke, it's not favorable because you're not good at blocking that.
I got Shatter.
And then we just get like kind of farmed.
Nice, Zenz, that's good. Oh, everyone back up into spawn.
Right, so we have a shatter up. Let's go. So you definitely want to tell your Sombra to hack the Reinhardt again because you have shatter.
Yep. I think he's close to MP at this point.
Could be. Always want to combo this. Rushing in a bit deep. Yeah.
Speeding.
Okay, so we get like a bit of a big shatter. It ends up working well.
Mini dead.
Target focus here.
Run down. Go around.
We use some interesting ulcer, like we use shatter without setting it up with hack and MP, and we also use transcendence, right?
I'm not there. You guys.
I don't think do we use trans?
It seemed like it.
Maybe he was low. I don't know.
By the way, we look to engage here. Their Diva is just inting. Okay, that's why we got the fight going in so quickly.
Two down. Brick, go brick. Nice. Diva. Mini dead.
There
we go.
Oh, it's because they grabbed us.
Run down. Go around.
Interesting fight. The enemy Diva fucked up, so good capitalization on that mistake there.
I'm not there. You guys got this.
In this case, it's a bit weird they're all standing up here. I guess what you could do is push up with them to provide a shield and get some on of your own charge, but just not the biggest deal.
We have grab MP.
Just push main and let them push you.
Yeah. Do you want to dry push this?
No. It's winnable.
Right, so one thing that we're going to see here is that you're going to push through main instead of going up top.
Yeah.
I would say you definitely want to like make sure that you do not like give it the high ground this easily, because one of the biggest things in Goats v Goats is having what I usually call Discord advantage, and that basically means that if you're forced to push through here, right, by the time that your entire team is through, they've always had line of sight with you, so you're taking a lot of shield damage, maybe some damage on your body, and they can discord like you, in this case Reinhardt, before you are saying I get a chance to discord them, right? So you always want to look to play in a way where you can at least like
face them and have cover.
Yeah, in a sense, but like the biggest deal, like sometimes if the enemy team is defending and they're setting up, you'll see it quite often that they are just like taking their relevant space because, well, they're defending 2CP, they get to set up. And then they, of course, they want to like hold their corner as well as they can, and they want to keep the advantage in terms of positioning, in terms of shielding, and in terms of Discord, like line of sight. What you could look to do in that case is at least make that like either rotate around it entirely, so maybe drop like to the bottom here and like just completely say, fuck the corner you're holding, I'm going somewhere else. Or look to meet him like in a duel where you can at least mitigate the effect So if you're going top right, of course you can kind of face them relatively equally. You can take cover behind the wall, then can get your abilities and healing online. Then go for another time. In this case, we're kind of taking a lot of damage, and we're giving them a lot of positional advantage and a lot of advantage and damage in that case. That's good. By the time we've moved through, we've lost like some health, some shield HP, and so does our team. And now we get stunned and we use some resources. Unlucky team at the end there.
Yeah.
One of the things I was noticing there, you do not have a Diva bomb. I was wondering, I don't know how you guys play this currently, but how do you use your ultimate economy with the Sombra Goats? You're not ever pressing tap, but...
Yeah. So ult economy Sombra Goats is well, we usually tend to avoid EMP grabbing because I feel like we get more value out of them separately rather than using them both together because they're both sort of fight winning ults at the same time. So what our main thing is currently EMP like Shatter, right? When we're doing Sombra Goats. EMP Shatter is like the main combo we do. We always save grab for just in general, like if a fight isn't gonna, just as like a team winning thing, right? Like fight winning. And then support ults we usually use trans for their grav, and we use beat for a shatter or beat for an EMP.
Yeah, fair enough. So then definitely one of the things you want to look at is hacking their Diva in case you're looking to use a Graviton Surge, and hacking /EMP in their round in case you're looking for a Shatter. I think we're going to see some EMP Shatters in like this footage. It's definitely something to keep in mind, but in this case you don't have a Diva, so you don't have to like idly stand in front of their Reinhardt and make sure your Diva can actually throw in her bomb. But you surely want to be mindful of where your team is, or tell them to not play around you because you're looking for an ultimate angle. In this case, get some damage in. Nice, he shatters because we're like weak. Like we ourselves kind of cleverly stood around it, but we have like one person dying to the shadow instantly, and we're gonna lose another one to the bomb they throw in.
Yeah.
So definitely look to tell your team to not play around you, or like actually play with them if they need your shield there.
Break that, break that.
Now we have to kind of see what we do. Are we resetting? Yeah, okay. Like, if you're resetting and you're losing the fight, you can always jump off the map. Makes it quicker and makes it so you have less ult charge granted.
Absolute unit. Ridder!
Nice.
4.3k DPS player.
Yeah. 4.3k peak was actually low GM when we scrimmed against him. Come on, brother.
Yeah. He was low GM.
Don't worry, I haven't played comp since season 11.
And go round.
Alright. So here we're gonna go for a bit more of a, like, a bit more of a rotation. If you want to go to high ground, like all around,
let's do it.
you can at least go into the bottom area. I think this is like much better, because then at least you avoid like all the damage and positioning that they have over you, and you just go for a new engagement.
Save me, I need healing.
Send shit orb you, nice.
Alright, I'm here,
nice. Okay, we used our armor pack early, so you have to be a bit careful.
Okay.
I'm gonna quickly let this play out, but things were a bit messy there.
Yeah, Ryan's gonna slam.
Alright, this fight's gonna be super long, isn't it?
Blocked it.
Yeah, it's the fight that you're winning. I'm gonna quickly rewind it then, otherwise we're 3 minutes in.
Yeah.
Right, so we're not really getting healed too quickly. We can definitely wait around the corner. In this case, we get the armor pack super quickly, which means that we cannot really engage as hard as we would maybe like, because we don't have armor pack. We also don't have Diva Matrix. If things go nasty, it's always what you want to see with the Sombra. That was a bit weird, because, like you said, okay, I'm here, I'm like kind of ready. One thing you could definitely look to do if you're playing the Sombra Goats is that as soon as you have EMP Shatter, you and the Sombra, like, everyone else can, like, not fully shut up, but really be relatively quiet, so that you and Sombra can really set up your EMP Shatter.
Alright, I'm here,
In the same way, if you have, like, if you have a Graviton already and want to hack their Diva, then kind of the Zarya and the Sombra take over the communicative role. So definitely look to get that going, because in this case, you say, like, okay, I'm here. EMP comes in, you someone's like, jump in around the corner when their support is coming on. I don't know what terminology you tend to use. I oftentimes tell my Sombra to set up for EMP, and then I'm saying like I'm engaging anytime now, for instance. Yeah, something like that. I don't know if you have like a set terminology. Otherwise, you could like think about one.
It's something similar to that. I just say like you know, I'm looking for slam is what I'm saying, and then I'll say I'm going in, and then I go in.
Yeah, for me it's like set up EMP, use EMP, but yeah, something like that will work. It's definitely helpful. We do get our first killer.
Ryan's gonna slam. Yeah, Ryan's gonna slam.
This is kind of okay because they used their Graviton like just now. The Ryan isn't gonna get his finger blocked, so it's not a problem that you didn't use your shield. That's fine. Only Diva's gonna get some charge.
Blocked it. Ryan, go Ryan.
Going for Ryan.
He's one. Ryan's one. Break.
What you could definitely look to do if like their Reinhardt's cornered like that, you can just look to charge into him. Because in this case, he like gets a charge off, and you either have to react quickly or you have to like let him your team.
I'm on like 150 HP. So
True, yeah. Maybe look like to ask for a resource like armor pack or team bubble.
Yeah.
But this Ryan himself is also like super low, so if you can at least get the like charge on him, he's forced to make a decision. Either he's gonna get pinned, / leave the point, / get counter pinned at 1 HP.
in like these situations, I enjoy playing passively because I feel like there's really no point in me going for a chat because he's gonna die anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have no burst healing. Briggs
True.
hacked, so
But 2 CP.
I
have to finish it quickly.
Alright, go Ryan.
It's like in part depending on the resources you have.
Brig next.
Okay, yeah, you had your armor pack a bit late. Like in that case, if you had armor pack or team bubble, you definitely want to go for it. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I can, like I said, I can imagine you're a bit hesitant. But
Mhm.
in this case, you were forced to let the Reinhardt fly past you, which kind of worked out now. But if you're Lucius and Yatta just standing behind you, and they suddenly get pinned, then things can get nasty, you know?
Yeah.
Go on Brig.
Right, charge focus is good if you're hacking.
Liso.
Rolling.
This is getting the focus
Liso
going.
next. Bull.
You can tell your Lucius should stay a lot more on speed amp in this case.
Bull. Nice. Zen to Zen.
Target calls in general are quite good. One thing you can maybe look to add is location.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people might
We've
know
been
that.
doing
Yeah.
that more recently.
Good.
Mhm.
Now it's just a cleanup phase. Buy Hammond, not having it. Good shit.
I think they were waiting for the.
That was an okay round.
I mean, that was pretty quick, like 4 minutes left on the Hanamura. Quite
Just
respectable.
in this really cheap, low-class estate.
A very cheap, low-class estate with
Yeah.
suicide. Right,
It's just locker room talk, you know.
I gotcha. Right, so we're looking to play Snows here.
Yeah.
We're doing like a lot of locker room talk this time. I want to quickly ask you because we're gonna hear like a bit of banter in between like the in between rounds and sometimes you're doing a bit during, and I'm not against it, but I kind of wanted to ask you how serious are you guys in scrims? Like, what are your ambitions with Overwatch? Is it kind of casual, or are people like really looking to improve a lot?
Well, in these sort of scrims, we're just sort of talking and like to know each other because we haven't really spent a lot of time. But it's more serious, right? Like,
What's it called? Then I imagine your comms have changed a bit.
Yeah,
one thing to
they
commonly abide by. Like, I'm always like up for some banter parts, like some locker room talk, I should put it. The general room like rule that I used to stick to, like 10 seconds before the round starts, it's like serious game time, and then that's no more chatter right there, like no more banter.
I have the power.
One thing that's fun here is that you're also going to go for the initial fire strike. I always tend to do it on the left-hand side.
yeah,
It has a
yeah,
very similar opening.
because it's
And shorter.
like, unexpected.
Uninterrupted. Yeah. It's A, they don't expect it, but B, it's a shorter walk for you to go by, and there's less things to block.
Also, I think
thing in a way.
I think you fucking did it to me you did it to us on Icon World.
Okay,
Yeah, of course. It's the same map basically. In terms of first point. But yeah, I do it a lot.
I think I hit a nutty charge.
Yeah.
It worked.
This is
Go
nutty,
Zara.
but you're playing Snow.
Go Zara. She's on point. She's on point.
Yeah.
You're looking to set up on the choke.
She's dead.
And now you just give up all choke advantage.
She's dead.
They can just go through choke.
Yeah, but the Zara's dead.
But
I
they
think
can't
it's
push
team
without the Zara.
I mean, on the one hand they can, but on the other hand, you cannot hold a choke with May
Yeah, we just
Reinhardt
bet.
if you do not have a Reinhardt. So
Yeah.
I guess the
Run,
play
run, run.
is like big dick and cool,
Run.
but
Yeah.
it's very risky. And on top of that, you just forgo like old choke position. You have to like really struggle to get back to choke,
Run.
get low HP, use your charge to get the Reinhardt and stabilize, but then you just die having like never use your shield.
Run.
And it's just never really favorable if you're
Brick
playing
side,
for a
brick one,
choke
brick one.
type setup.
That would be more favourable if we were playing regular goats, right? Or summer goats.
Like
Yeah,
it kind of
actually-
depends.
actually
In general, I'm not
wouldn't-
really like too fond of the like the
I've
flank
got
shadow
slam.
plays. I
I've
like
got
to just
slam.
play it in
Cool
central.
targets.
But if you're going for it, you definitely do want to play with May, because with May you have to like get value out of your wall, and in that case you're making it that much harder on your
give
mate to
one or two
actually
ticks so
find
that
the
we can
wall, you know.
regroup.
And on top of that,
Alright, on 2 ticks we can go in.
let's spoke about the wall also, because you're playing like around the wall, because you're really playing around choke, like around choke areas, and then forgoing that choke is just a bit detrimental.
Go around.
One thing on your return here.
Yeah.
Always look to go for the right side, because in this case you're going for the flank, kind of, but you have no illusions because you're around, you get spotted out from here.
Yeah.
You get like the
Three
flank
down,
on them
three
because you
down.
had
Go,
at least like,
go
took a
around,
fair amount
go
of
around.
damage in the process. You could have maybe rotated a bit more effectively around the right side with your team.
Yeah.
Blocked it.
That's a good block.
Alright, go.
Definitely
I think
charging now. Yeah.
I think I think the pin did go a bit wrong because I didn't mean to take her so far. I was going for an actual pin, but I didn't actually get to pin her against the wall or anything. I sort
Zarya?
of slid. Yeah, the Zarya at the start. I didn't get.
Yeah. But like it would only work if you instantly charge into the health pack room on your right and kill her there. But
I
still,
was
I would
aiming
say,
for the
meh.
rock
Yeah.
in the middle of the point. Yeah.
But still, I would say like, meh. It's risky.
Still a bit risky. Yeah.
One thing here, Like we get to retake the point well, and we get a good graviton.
Blocked it.
Yeah.
Good block here. When you're like looking to retake a point here, you have to confirm your kills quite quickly because you're at like a spawn disadvantage and you have your charge online. Like pinning the run out of the way makes it so that you can kill the rest of the team for free, or pinning any squishy means insta kill. So
Alright, go,
definitely
go,
look
go.
to get for one of those.
Nice, nice.
We could get a bit more general ult charge like this, but confirming that
Deal.
first killer getting
Stagger,
run out of the way is
stagger,
just that much more beneficial to the team.
Wait. Speed me in front of her. Speed me in front of her.
We're gonna go for the classic
No,
LH
it
Kali
didn't
play.
No.
Didn't happen. Didn't
I
happen.
know.
I know you know.
I know that you know that I know.
Oh shit.
I should be able to
Shit.
A 4.3k player.
We're a retired Overwatch player. Okay.
Retire Overwatch coach.
I'm still an active coach. I'm just not playing actively.
That was a
Right,
nice
one
play.
thing here.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with like the shield peak mechanic of Reinhardt?
What, like looking around corners with shield?
Exactly. You stand here, put your shield and like
yeah.
just walk, watch around the corner. It can maybe help you a bit because in this case, like if you're holding around this choke here, it's like super beneficial because it's hard for them to push into, right? But in this case, you're kind of pushing past it, and now you're like in line of sight of damage and Discord and all that shit. If you drop your shield, like in this case, you get team bubbled, but you're forced to expend resources. You now get Discord, and you cannot really like hold this position very well because you need to expend so many resources to get it.
Yeah.
So what you were kind of doing is taking space aggressively, over holding, like maintaining space that you already have. And in the goats matchup, like the mirror goats kind of, maintaining space is like a million times easier than taking space, both in terms of like mechanical execution, but also in terms of resource management.
Well, like right here, I'm baiting them to go aggressive on me so that we can get the wall on them.
Kind of
like...
fun, but you have no team bubble, no armor pack because you got 520 HP and you're discorded. So
that's fair enough.
Indeed, and one thing like you can definitely look to set up for a wall. But you have to be a bit careful because what many teams will start to do when they're that's a nice image. What many teams will start to do when they're a bit clever is that the Diva will look to bait it, and then the Lucio will kind of wall right at the top so that if anyone actually gets walled off, they will boop anyone who goes for that target away, and then they will all shoot the two central pillars of the wall, both which have like 100 HP or 75 HP now, so they're down really quickly, and then they just walk through. So like your margin for error like in baiting walls is super like small. Especially because when you're like actually looking to set up a bait with the wall, you usually want you have to Reinhardt charge in with a team or a team bubble on them, right, to punish whoever is in there. And in this case, you can't really do that because you already used up the team bubble on your Discord, so you want to be careful.
Discord.
Yeah.
As you can see now, we're giving up quite a lot of space. Like we cannot really hold the choke as effective anymore.
They're coming in. I've got slam. I've got slam.
And we need to set up like here now.
Run slow. That's EMP slam. EMP slam.
Right now we're looking to set up EMP slam. That's good.
Alright, I'm letting my shield recharge.
I've almost got
It's
grab.
kind of good for us though. Just letting this fight wear out a bit.
EMP slam first.
Yeah, do it. Alright, 3 down.
Nice, that's a good one.
Send one.
In general, like if you can get this slam on the Diva when you're in a graviton search, it's like really good. So many Reinhardts, of course, will look to block it. In this case, you had a good EMP, so that's a good combination there. Get a good cleanup on the Zen because that's how EMP and Fire Strike works.
Run.
And get some good kills.
Sorry,
One thing
half.
this is good once again, like getting the target spell, but try to implement location. One thing you could always maybe also look to do. I'm just gonna quickly rewind it for you here. So like in this case, it's 66, right? Like everyone's live, everyone's active.
Yeah.
EMP slam first.
We're looking for EMP slam, okay? We get grab. We lose 1-2.
Alright, 3 down.
3 down. We're
Send
1 down now. We're now equal. We're now 1 up.
Zari half. Zari 1.
It could maybe help your team. I don't know if you're like very comfortable doing it, but always keeping like an up-down call status is very helpful, especially when Resurrect gets concerned or when Diva loses her mech and gets back in it later, stuff like that. I don't know if you guys often do it, but it's something that I just heavily recommend because like sometimes your team might not be entirely sure, and this is especially true for in the Ghost meta. It's maybe a bit of a no-brainer, but especially if you have DPS players that actually have to like really focus on their mechanics and their aim, watching the kill feed and the fight status on top of that is super difficult. So if you have one person, and it's usually like the main support or the main tank, just call what the fight status is like, so like 1 up equal 2 down, then at least you can like you don't have to say fully, oh, we're not winning this fight, so we're conserving these ultimates. You can just say 2 down, and then your DPS player know, okay, I'm gonna hold on to my fucking blade for next engagement. Stuff like that. It's something like a bit little that you can look to implement. It's quite helpful.
Makes sense.
Diva's bomb. They have grab bomb. No, they have bomb.
By the way, it's usually your main support who's like the general shot caller, right? Or...
Yeah, I'm just gonna play like he does.
We had sort of a fill for this, a sub, because we hadn't found a proper main support yet.
Okay, that's fair. I was about to say I heard like very little ultimate planning, but with a sub on main support, I can kind of imagine that for a new team. It's kind of okay. Is that Argyll?
Fat.
No.
It's the Argyll, right? Okay.
I've got slam.
Oh, yeah. In that case, it's kind of good that we grab early.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we lose one early. I think the initial position you're taking here is good, just holding this area. I'm looking at your Lucio falls. But it's good that you grab quickly to try and stabilize. But then you're kind of looking at your HP.
Yeah.
I sometimes struggle with it myself as well. It might be helpful, if sometimes one of your support players tells you to shield up. But try to be a bit mindful of your HP, because sometimes, from what I see from footage...
sometimes in rally, and then I have all this gold stuff around me. I'm like, oh wow, I must be on high health.
Yeah. It's very deceiving. Yeah, I sometimes make the mistake as well. So I'm not going to judge you full bullshit on it. But try to keep an eye out, and maybe if it happens often. I don't know if it does regularly, but maybe tell your support players to keep an eye out. So I had a couple of times with Beeman. Go for it.
Yeah. Okay. This is 100% my bad, because the mistake I jump right. I jump right here, and I've stopped doing that now. Mostly, it was a bad habit of mine that I've sort of prevented now. But if I didn't jump here, it would have been the big slam.
It could have been, but still, you're taking so much damage, and you still have a lot of shield HP left. So you should be looking to block damage with your shield rather than your health bar.
Yeah, I've gotten a lot better at sort of swapping between my face damage and my shield damage. We have our own coach, and he's been sort of helping me.
That's good.
Focus on my shield management.
A general rule of thumb, you can quite comfortably take damage on your armor portion of your HP. After that, it becomes a bit questionable. Yeah. Of course, it doesn't apply as neatly, especially when you're looking at higher ranked scrims. And I'm not going to say, "Oh, you have 280 health. Hold up your shield." But you want to be a bit mindful there. A couple thresholds that you definitely want to keep in mind is the damage of a single right click, the damage that gets hit when you get stunned, or maybe even the damage of a Zarya right click, stuff like that. There's kind of thresholds that I tend to keep in mind, and then of course you add Discord where need be.
Yeah.
Like I said, in this case, it's you lose your Lucio early, which is unlucky. It's good that you grab early in that case. And then you look to go for the slam here. Doesn't work as well as we'd hoped.
No, I died. Zarya was on my right.
It's alright, Zarya, farm your ult. Just fight the D.Va, Zarya. Just farm.
That's it.
As much as possible.
Give us him out.
Alright, I think we've lost it.
Just corridor.
It's lost.
Just die.
5 on ult.
Alright, so we're going for point B, and we're actually setting up quite properly. We're just holding the top left. And you can see that we're going to do some nice little things here.
I doubt they'll even push.
Yeah,
we had a lot of time here because they're
they got top left.
Yeah, true. That's always good. Kind of getting this crucial trade. It's kind of okay, just setting up for a fire strike soon. Now using the shield peek, I like it. Good stuff. You kind of to rotate it just so it doesn't face the entire wall.
Yeah.
Alright.
Good fire strike.
Ryan's got slam. Nice, go in.
Nice, okay. This engage is a bit interesting.
Ryan. Alright.
Because in this case, you do this kind of shield peek kind of okay. You could maybe look to just pinch it into your own side of the wall, so you angle it a bit more, covering your team so you do not take meaningless damage. We get a good fire strike in there, because that's just what Ryan had to do.
Alright. Ryan's got slam.
It's a bit unlucky that you get Discord. The initial corner you were holding was quite helpful. Then we're going to have the EMP, which is not something that was pre-planned, but it's a bit of old footage.
Ryan.
And then we get we totally forget about our HP again and our shield. Definitely something we want to keep in mind there. Basically, when you charge into a narrow corridor, it's almost instantaneously the shield up time.
Don't worry.
Right, now we have to kind of talk to our team about how we want to get back, because we got some staggers now. But it will take a while for us to get set up on high ground. We're not going to take this top left approach. So I could have maybe told your team now that you want to set up back up on high ground, because it might be a bit of a race, even though you killed their Lucio. It might take some time.
I've got a slam for the next fight. Are they going main?
Zarya's full energy, Zarya's gonna have grab.
Yeah. I'll try and tank it. Play back.
We still have our graviton, so we don't have to worry about things too much.
I'll try and tank the grav.
I still got trans though.
I can grab.
I've got slam.
Okay, this is weird because okay, they're going punch. You could maybe look to recognize it a bit earlier, but at least we dropped in time. That was kind of okay. They always want to drop with some distance, of course, so you don't instantly get overrun.
Focus. I've got.
Okay, that's good. You got You had a good stun shatter, but then things get messy.
Yo, big EMP.
It's a bit of a shame that your summer can blend EMP when you shatter it beforehand.
Nice, now Zarya.
So we end up clutching it out here.
Zarya, no bubble. Zarya, 1. Nice.
Right, so now things are going to get interesting because we used a lot of ultimates here. I want to ask you, if you're playing Sombra Goats, do you usually tend to play quite aggressively, or do you play kind of slow and passively?
Aggressive. Always aggressive.
always aggressive.
I have a very aggressive playstyle in
I
general.
see. Have you ever attempted to play more defensively?
Yeah, we have. Well, we adjust our playstyle depending on what they're running or what ults they have. So, but like I think a solid 60% of the time we're playing very aggressive because both me and Ridder have like quite uber aggressive playstyles. So it makes a lot more sense for us to play more aggressive because I think aggressive works most of the time better than defensive does. Like minus a few situations.
Depends. Is there anyone else in your team that has a more aggressive playstyle, or?
I think the rest of them just follow wherever I go. So
in a sense, I think your Zarya Dark Dagger is also a bit more aggressive in his plays.
Yeah, Dark can be aggressive.
Yeah, and sometimes Real got a bit lost in this scrim, but it's not all I can see. Of course, Lucius sub I cannot really talk about too much because I have no clue who he is. But
Real's gotten a lot better.
That's good. What you could maybe do in a situation like this. So your Zarya like still has a lot of energy because she survived the entire fight, and she's already 50% in new grav, and you do not have your own transcendence here. And I think they still have their own graviton, if I'm not mistaken.
So grav early is what you're saying?
No, they have their own graviton. You're still farming it.
Okay.
So what you could maybe look to do in this case, like in the goats v goats matchup, it's quite handy if you play like what we call a slow version of goats. So I'm just gonna quickly go to when you're like up top.
Fat.
Fat. Yes. Turn around, good boy.
Yeah. A 6. That's...
Man, why is this program so weird? Okay, so we're gonna see this corner. Like this is basically the prime corner that we want to hold in the goats v goats matchup, right?
Yeah.
And like we mentioned, holding space in goats v goats is much easier than taking space aggressively. It just demands less resources, less mechanical plays, etc., etc. Like if you play it very slow, what you're looking to do in that case is like bait the enemy to like use bad aggression onto you, and you want to like really make the fight go down to a shield war, which is not something you'll commonly see in goats v goats, and especially if you fancy playing quite aggressively, I reckon you just go for the damage before the shield war really gets a prime thing. But one of the things you can look to do in a situation like this, a slow type of goats fight is super handy when there's like a single choke that you can really benefit from holding. In this case, Hanamura B is like the top left high ground here. Yeah. It's also beneficial if you want to draw out the fight for a longer period of time. So in this case, you have like 3 minutes that you can stall out. If you can make one fight last like uber long, that's quite beneficial. And of course, you want to look to use slow goats to really farm up some of your own ultimates. So if you have 6 ultimates, there's no reason for you to take it slow. It just gives them the chance to farm up, right? What you could look to do if you're playing a slow goats variant is have your Brigand Zarya kind of stand in front of the Reinhardt in the choke and preserve as much resource as you can by just maintaining the space and really not doing much else besides that. Yeah. And then when they start to push in, you can maybe look to use your Zarya as a bit of bait and then bail her out with your Reinhardt, and then you suddenly have like a shield up front, you have more resource, and you really look to draw the fight out, like almost bleed it out. What you can do in that case, your Zarya was like functioning as bait, so she's going to use a self bubble when she gets rushed, aka she has high charge and a lot of damage done. And when you still have like your Rhine shield up and your Brig like in front, you can just look to use your Rhine shield quite a lot. And in this case, you might not get your own ultimate up super quickly, but your Zenyatta, if he has like the proper angle, always has like an advantage in line of sight and Discord, so he deals more damage, and your Zarya deals more damage. And in those cases, the Zarya and Zen ultimate are like super crucial in the goats v goats matchup. So definitely when like there's more situations we can apply it. So if you're attacking and you can hold the enemy off at a crucial choke, that's also fine. But in many cases, a slow type of goats play is helpful on defense when there's like time to be drawn out. And especially when your Zarya and Zenyatta do not have their ultimates up yet, like drawing the fight out and letting them deal as much damage in the time as you can is super good, because then you farm up your own ultimates, you do not use much resource, and you draw the fight out for a long time, and on defense, that can be super handy. So you could maybe look to at least try it, maybe. Or maybe you can like look to recognize that you see it being played in contenders or OWL. It's something that happens with some regularity, and it oftentimes forces the enemy team to either like push like head first into your like little defensive trench, which is rarely a good idea. It's mostly like if you're going for a dry fight, then you want to like push on head first, but it's a rough call. Or you're just like forced to rotate like around. In the meantime, you're taking a lot of damage and burning a lot of time off the clock. Either way, it's kind of good. So you can maybe look to implement that if that makes sense.
Yeah. Don't worry. They don't either. They use trans, grav, shatter,
okay.
rally. They're bomb and beat. Did they use beat?
Nope.
Then they'll have bomb and beat. Bomb and beat are the only two they have.
Top.
Yep.
And one thing that you could also do, it's like a bit of a detail. If you're playing the Summer Goats, it's always like kind of up to the Summer player, but most people like to hack either the Reinhardt or the D.Va. The Reinhardt just because it takes away like the main shield of the main hero, but for the D.Va, just making up for the fact that you don't have your own D.Va, so you cannot have Matrix like up. And
just takes away that Matrix.
Yeah, And especially like if you have a high charge Zarya that's looking to farm Graving or Zenyatta, hacking that D.Va can be super beneficial because then you can just get splash damage in on the corners, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know what you guys usually go for. Yeah, and you can get a 5-striking as well. It's quite helpful. This is going to be a juicy one. 7 Escort and a team bubble. Self bubble. Alright, this is good. We still have our own team bubble.
We don't have a bubble for you right now, right?
Okay, we don't.
Yeah.
This is good what we're doing. Like, we're
I've
getting a
got
lot of
Shatter,
damage
I've
on
got
the corner. And this is like exactly the type of plays that I think is like really good to do, because in this case you're not drawing a lot of resources from your own team. You're getting like some damage in, and you're not really.
I've got Shatter.
The most healing that you're forcing from your team is like a Lucio heal or a standing nearby and a Zen orb on you, and that's kind of okay. So like this is like a really good play, just like holding the corner, not doing too much, and just getting your things in. Rail was a bit deep. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Your initial setup was like really good. Then you and your break went a bit too far, and the shadow was a bit panicky. That's always a bit rough, but also once again you died with a lot of shield HP, so be mindful.
2 ticks at least.
Right, now we have some time to set up. We have a Graviton. Did we hack D.Va?
Yeah, but I can still manage that to come on.
D.Va 1.
Get us some suns up.
I don't have anything.
This is kind of okay what you're doing, just getting damage in. One thing you could look to do though, if you have enough people online, is force a single target, like, is focus a single target fully down, like, even if there's 2 seconds going on, it can maybe even kill them. And now it's time to shield up, yeah. We're taking a bit of a risk. I think in this case it ends up working out. We're taking a lot of damage on your HP instead of your shield.
Yeah.
In this case it ends up kind of working out.
Mini D.Va,
like, at least you got the kills from, but if you're in a 2CP situation, it's oftentimes quite beneficial to play it a bit more like defensively.
Passively.
Passively, exactly, because then you can just look to draw out the fight, your team can come back. And then you might have like a bit of a low HP shield, but at least your like own HP is still fully online. That's always helpful.
Yeah. Surviving for
Surviving.
Actual useful mechanic.
I mean, like during this fight, you were mostly around 200 HP. If they ever had like a Discord open 100 charge Zarya like left click into you, you would have been in trouble. I'm not a fan of this drop, and do you know why?
It's because I basically dropped into their entire team.
And who's the first to take damage when you drop like this?
Me.
Exactly. When you want to drop, always look to drop from a distance, so at least you don't like take the fronted hit instantly. Or if you're like looking to drop as a team, so let's say you need to like really touch the point in some very dire situation, look to drop all together, and that's super hard to do. But dropping like really close like this without the presence of your team is very difficult. And as you can see in this case, you instantly get discorded, stunned, get the team bubble. You need like an actual beat drop to survive for this.
Would it have been a better play for me to just charge off the high ground, like just back to my team?
I would have just literally, it's gonna sound very silly, not taking this high ground. Not relevant.
Okay, fair enough.
Top left is what matters here. Because if they want to take this high ground, like, if there's a widower or a soldier involved, then maybe holding this high ground can be beneficial, right? But in the goats v goats, I mean, if they want to stand up here, that's all fine for me. They're like 30 meters away from the point and they can't do shit. Holding the top left is most beneficial, because in that case, you have like the single most important choke they can hold in like the entire game, basically. Or you're forcing them to make a very long rotation, in which case you can just instantly drop to point.
Yeah.
Like, that's the 2 options they have. Or they want to flank all the way around, then go to your spawn side and go onto the staircase. That's like the alternate option, but I don't see that happening too often. So holding the top left high ground is super beneficial, because it holds like all the relevant chokes, AK1, essentially. And you can always just rotate easily, because the only other way that they can go is to go like straight on point, in which case you can just hold the high ground and drop like from a distance. It's gonna be communications, but try to communicate the ultimates.
It's fine.
Well, we've got a lot better. Like
we have trans, we're gonna have
so whenever I always say looking for slam now. Whenever I look for a shatter,
they have shatter. They have,
and
it alerts my team. Right?
One of the things I noticed in our warm-up scrims is that you still oftentimes do graph shatter combos at times. I don't know if that was incidental like last weekend, but I did see it happening as well during the games.
Okay, then they have shatter.
To be honest, like the warm-up scrims were a bit like meme for us. They were just.
They'll probably have a
I don't think most of us didn't take it very seriously, which we probably should have.
I see.
We were just warming up our mechanics pretty much.
Yeah, I don't know how you always felt about it. I personally always like the warm-up scrims as well to like get into the zone as XQC would almost say, like really get your focus on, get your thinking caps on. I don't know how it works like for you, but
well, Real's not a fan of getting up really, so
I see.
Hard life out
handy. Dangerous engagement can work. Even though like the pillar roll is fun.
Oh, please don't tell me I do this. Oh, I forgot about this.
Yeah, okay. That's a no-go.
Yeah.
It ends up working, but like that runner further away from the point, you had like a favorable position, and it could just rotate it to point. Yeah, if you just went back to your team, you would have been back on point sooner than they were.
Close.
And I'll just clean up. Okay.
Yeah, Zarya can't touch.
So they end up like winning this first map. Any questions on this one?
No, I think we went over like literally everything that I could have hoped for.
Yeah, so like to shortly summarize this,
wait, another question. Is this comp okay against that comp? Right? This comp should be fine, right?
It can be okay. Summer's definitely something that's been swapped out for the D.Va in more recent times. There's a couple things you have to keep in mind. If they ever pick Ana, you might be in some sort of trouble. I don't know if I saw the picture like a little while back of like an enemy team playing the Summer Goats, like the variant that you're playing against London Spitfire, and Rascal is swapped to Ana, and like 22 grenade kills and 18 sleeps in one map. Like
I think we played the we played the Summer Goats against you when you were running the Ana Goats, and I think
the Ana Goats with like the Hammond.
Yeah, it was just quite rough. We got
I mean it's an instant competition to say the least. But like the combo with players is like it's a very, very, very far descendant of like Goats comp, if you will. Like it's like up for debate where you can even still call it Goats. So I wouldn't really instantly compare it to that, just because the comp is a bit wonky and it's by no means like meta or like when you get to higher tier teams, they will oftentimes discounter it. So it's not per se the best comp out there. But like having the Summer instead of D.Va is kind of okay. There's a couple things you have to keep in mind. Your shatter setups should be like super clean because you have a hack and EMP. You should also be able to like land grabs quite successfully if you have a successful hack on a D.Va. You want to be very mindful of spam damage. So if you're playing against like a high charge Zarya right clicking into you have to somewhat deal with that by not taking damage for it.
Just dodge it.
But also if the enemy team is like playing a 2-2-2 comp and they have like alternate angles, playing with Summer can be a bit difficult in the Goat setup because you do not have the matrix flexibility, right? You can also like if you're looking to play this type of Summer setup, one of the things you surely want to do is actually have a contest high grounds, because that's kind of like in Goats with Goats you oftentimes rotate with like all 6 or like just in Goats in general, regardless of what the enemy's playing. But it's oftentimes D.Va to scurry people away from the high ground if you're being nasty. So definitely look to have your Summer play around those high grounds as well. I think in this case it went kind of okay, but it's just always something to look out for. So like it's definitely like that this can work. They have to be how should I put this? Like really good teams get really clever at scouting, because they always know that your Summer is going to go for certain targets. So if you have a Shatter, you know that they would have to look out for their Reinhardt. And if you have like an EMP craft, you know that you have to look out for your supports. And what they'll do is that they'll set up like their supports like just like outside of doorways and chokes that your Summer can't really get to there without being seen. And it kind of like divides the map into like 1 or 2 areas that the Summer can go through unseen, and then just D.Va starts like scanning through it like an actual like a garden hose, like an automated garden hose, just checking everything. Indeed. So for now, it's like this can definitely kind of work, but do be very mindful of when teams start to adapt, and that will mean that one of the 2 supports starts playing a bit split from the others. So you can only like get one of this like only the Lucia or the Zen with Graph, not both. And look out for D.Vas that are like spinning around like an actual fidget spinner. Because what they'll often do.
Rotating.
Yeah, but like a lot of people think that like D.Vas are just like randomly like, oh, I think this Summer might be at like a 37-degree angle looking upwards. That's actually not like what most teams tend to do. Is that they just position their like other teammates in such a way that they block all like pathways for the Sombra, bearing like 2 or something, or like something very small.
So
and then
D.Va only has to check 2.
For instance, like see if I can quickly find a picture. Right, I'm just gonna quickly send this in VOD and you can have a look. So if this is like Hanamura point A, right?
Hold on, let me check VODs. Yeah, I'm there.
So if you have one person positioned near choke and one person like kind of near top right, and there's one person kind of checking the bottom left, and there's one person checking the doorway top left. What way can the Summer come from?
Well, repeat that. That was just a lot of information.
Right, so like one person is holding the front of the choke, right? Let's say it's the Reinhardt. One person is looking to hold like the top right window.
Top right window, yeah.
One person is like kind of like near the bottom left doorway into like the white little health room. And then one person is kind of like on the top bridge, like to the far left. What angles can like Summer currently come from if she wishes to hack like a D.Va or a Reinhardt or an ultimate combo?
She come from the high ground on the right.
That's being guarded.
She is it?
Yeah.
But you said they were shooting the window. You said they were shooting the window on the right.
Shooting, but Zarya can just right click herself up there, and so can D.Va.
Oh, fair enough. She can come from that room on the left, like the lower room, right?
Yeah, but in the front way, like where the Reinhardt's standing, there's like a Lucia blocking it or a Brig. Someone is in that doorway, so if you walk into them, you just get the detect thing.
She can come from the high ground that the Widow is standing on right there.
Okay, that's a super far rotation, but could be, yeah.
She could even, if you're like big brain, you come from above the choke, above the main choke.
But Rhino can just shield it up instantly without issues.
Yeah. True. You could also come from the. So you're saying there's someone. Well, yeah, I don't see. She can come from like that little alleyway in between the window, the high ground.
You mean like if the enemy team will move through the choke and then turn to their left, so like between the window side and the stairway?
Yeah, that one.
Right. So we're looking like potentially like a hold from there.
Yeah.
And potentially like something from up top, like the top right or something. So it's like 2, maybe 3 airs they can actually that the summer can come through. And let's say that like you're saying out is holding the top left bridge, the Lucius or the Brig is holding like the bottom left. The Reinhardt's holding
when we're saying left, we mean on defense, right?
Yeah, like from the Widowmaker's POV now.
Okay, yeah, okay, good.
Yeah, if you're Reinhardt in the choke and then have like either Zarya or a Diva like standing up top right, I'm gonna say it's Zarya for now because you want to have your Diva scouting. There's still one other hero left. It's going to be either Lucio or Brig who can scout to some areas and just boop and left click like into nothingness. And then Diva can scout somewhere. If there's like 2 or 3 locations that you can potentially come from a Sombra, Diva's just gonna like literally like sporadically scout all these areas somewhat randomly but also somewhat expectedly. So if they're suddenly moving through, she starts to like, really be wary of where that Reinhardt could be hacked, for instance.
Yeah.
And that's the type of stuff that like really clever teams will start to do. They'll have their positioning like adjusted in such a way that you can never land the EMP on both supports. And they'll like look to recognize what your ultimate economy is and adjust themselves accordingly. Just set up in a way where you're like the attacking Sombra can not as easily get a hack there. And in that case, you just like scan the 2 or 3 areas that the Sombra could come from. And then you just look to hold it from there, essentially.
Yeah, makes sense.
Makes sense, okay.
Makes big brain sense.
Big brain sense, okay. So a couple of things I noticed. Definitely you like to play aggressively. That's not something that's inherently bad, especially in Goat's meta.
Yeah.
Be a bit more mindful of like your HP and your ability cooldowns, though. Sometimes you're going in aggressively without armor pack or team bubble being available when they still had theirs. Sometimes you want to be a bit keen on your positioning as well, so always look to recognize like those crucial chokes, if you will, because if you're like forced pushing into them and you're like already forced resources just barely getting in, it might be like time to like actually take a step back and think again and just wait for those abilities to be online, and otherwise it's a little bit rough. And in some situations where you don't have much ultimate charge, look to play like an elongated slow goats style of play. So it might be handy if your like own coach also addresses it at some point, because I can imagine it's a bit like abstract and theory crafty. So having maybe your own coach explain it to the rest as well can be surely helpful, and just like practicing it in a scrim. But I'll leave that up to you, of course, because I'm not your head coach. That's his.
I mean, I'll send this VOD to like the team chat.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Everyone can see it.
All right, so now I want to see if I can actually do this next VOD as well without having to cancel the session. It looks like I have to make a new one. That should be fine. Unlock.
I also keep in mind you have to do both VODs like right now.
Oh, I'm just gonna do it right now. It's kind of okay. My sleep schedule's fucked anyways. Man, I can choose the character Spectator, my favorite. Spectator boys, actual coach, spectating. On Hollywood.
Are you still recording?
Yeah, I am.
Sick.
I'll let you know when like I'm actually done recording.
Okay, good. So then I can start chatting better shit.
Indeed.
That's what I wanted.
Always want to talk some shit. Okay, I'm just see. Looks like I did make a new live session. Here we go. Cannot do one session for 2 VODs. Unlock.
Well, you know, this is sort of new software, so.
Indeed. You know. I think it's quite handy there. Like, I'm actually curious to see whether advice will actually be prevalent. Like when it comes back in 2.5 weeks. Sorry.
What happened to it? Where'd it go?
Like they're doing some sort of like big update, it seems, in which they're kind of looking to like rebrand it and like refresh it entirely. But it's taking like it's going to like actually take an entire month, so like 2.5 more weeks. So we would have either like moved on to new things, which may have been improved over Visor, but a couple things that speak in Visor's favor: more efficient playback tools and like map layouts that you can just put in everyone.
Yeah, that's
the drawing tools of this program are like a bit better with the thingies. Are you in the thingy, by the way? Or...
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay, nice. Because it doesn't say it on my screen, but then I'm just gonna go.
Completely.
Whoop. Now you're playing fire like a true big brain. Alright, so we're playing Summer Goods again, that's fine.
Come on, man.
We're memeing unluck.
You are confirming the shit, so.
Okay. So we know their comp because it's Sin Goats. They're holding up there, okay, that's interesting. Does this happen often? You're cutting out, by the way. Oh wait, that's me. My ping, okay. 1 second.
Restart.
Let's try again. It is dying for me. Can you hear me?
Oh, is that better? Okay, it was on my end. It was my...
Okay, yeah, like my ping just suddenly went to like a couple hundred, so that was not
Oh,
favorable.
okay. Yeah, so did mine.
Okay. Do you oftentimes see teams holding up this, like up here or not?
Yeah, sometimes we've had like 3 teams up either to us.
Okay.
Yeah, even in OD as well. So.
Let's see. I don't see it too often. What I would look to do in that case is just hold around the
not
choke.
with that comp.
Yeah,
not with that comp.
Yeah, okay,
Usually...
like that's what I was saying with that comp. With
it's
bunker
usually
comp, it would make sense.
bunker, yeah.
Right. Our team's going to be a bit weird if they really insist on doing this. I would just say like go far right and just take the cafe from them.
Yeah, that's what we've done previously.
Intended to do. But we're gonna like double back this one.
Reinhardt sacked.
It's a bit unlucky. Like this might have been fixed with team communication, but you definitely want to save the hack for when you're actually ready to engage. In this case, it's not doing too much.
Like, how many backs are there?
Yeah, what?
Right, so we have our armor pack already used. It takes some damage. Okay, now we have armor pack used.
Right, go right.
Who was counted down? Was that Ritter?
Hold on, play back.
3, 2.
No, I think that was the sub.
The sub, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's a bit difficult to play with a sub, but if there's like some sort of call being made for like engage at a set time, so 3, 2, 1, then definitely like to abide by it, even if the call itself will be wrong. Just having your like your shot caller, like giving him the space and the chance to actually improve on shot calling and see whether his like plans actually work. It's definitely quite valuable. In this case, you're going in when your Sombra isn't quite set up yet because she's in the back, not ready for hack, and your Lucia wasn't ready yet either.
Go right.
Already like had the armor pack used on you, and like you trade 1 for 1. But trading Reinhardt for anything else is never really favorable in Goats v Goats.
Yeah.
There's one there.
Nice. Ryan shield nearly broke. We need to recharge.
Yeah, Ryan's shield is almost broken. It's Discord there.
Alright, we do end up winning this fight.
Let's go real.
Good rotation onto Zen here. I think it's gets scary. Because Brig.
Yo, okay, I'm not on 10 anymore.
We can chase. Go.
That's rewind time right there.
No.
This is a good cleanup.
Yeah.
Good team did well after your death. And here in this case, there's only one person that wants to be on payload, and it's your fucking Zenyatta.
Yeah.
I would call him back right now and just say, Zen, you're getting back here.
Yo, guys, do you need any help? I'll be on the car, okay? Okay, yeah.
It gets kind of memey here, and I guess it was maybe just a scrim opponent maybe not being as strong as you'd hope.
Yeah.
But there's only one person that wants to stay on the payload, and it's like usually the flex support. Yeah, but even if you're playing with Ana, oftentimes it's Ana because you at least have like some sort of unlimited range, and then it's like a 40-meter like orb radius. Now things just get messy because your Summer's also getting back. Nice smile. Alright, so we get like kind of pushed here.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like look for this engagement. Like the fact that you're gonna get a good shot here is nice.
Wait, why did I do that?
Two down.
Yeah, see, I'm not sure either. Like in this case, you make it work, but it's solely because their brigands are emptying their brains out.
Yeah, I
Or
guess.
retreating in time. I just look to rotate and like let my team get out. In this case, we like get the big play,
Two down.
but it's only because the Zarya walks in like completely oblivious of what's going on, and Brig is like,
Also,
I'm gonna hold M1.
I don't think my brain's working. Like I'm just like not focused. So I just.
Your team in general wasn't like super focused on this one, so I can imagine it like spreads. Once again, you're like, we have an EMP, but we do not really get the EMP shatter going off. It's kind of used at will.
They double up support.
True, but that's like their team making a mistake. Like your team made a mistake by putting you on the card and pushing it forward, meaningly whilst dying. Then there's Zarya Brig made a mistake by walking in like bluntly in a room with a Reinhardt without any resources available. Then you made a mistake by not setting up your EMP shatter correctly. and then they made a mistake by double support holding. So this is like a fight completely determined by mistakes on both ends, and like you end up getting like on top because you have a close spawn, and you get like just a favorable kills.
Yeah.
But it's by no means like flawless on either side.
Mm-hmm.
I feel bad for Aaron.
I mean, it's gonna sound so weird, but like this is perfect. If you're like one person push the payload and all the rest from their ultimates up, this is perfect. So Aaron can go fuck himself in this case, with all respect.
Yeah, no, that's understandable.
What are these bots doing? They're all struggling with Ridder. So, like his existence is just
This is where it gets funny. If an enemy team is like if the enemy team has like a diva that's maybe not too clever, like playing a bit too aggressively and not really team oriented, the summer guys can be super effective. But if you're playing against a team, and especially against a diva that are like super apt at scanning out the Sombra, it will be much more difficult. So yeah,
You're just like
surprise, surprise, this diva is playing quite aggressively, not with her team, and doesn't bother scouting. And then the goats with Summer started to look like really good.
Yo.
Alright, this is good. Just like getting the kills in the grab.
Zarya jail.
Not much to be said here. Like you said, like ults were used like quite equally, but you said like a favorable ultimate economy, so you just played it out well.
Yo guys, I'm pushing up for bad spawns.
This is really good. I like the fact that you're pushing up for bad spawns. Call out what heroes are in bad spawns.
Yeah. This is a dodgy charge, but you know, I'll take it.
Yeah, like,
Ryan's retarded because he sort of engaged on me a bit.
I mean, it's a bit silly on both ends. Like, I think it's good that you're looking to confirm some kills, like after payloads, like from the frame when I go for charging. But your team needs to be with you, so you want your Zarya, Lucio, Brig, absolutely to be with you, just for like armor packs, speed boost, team bubble, stun, etc., etc. Like going for the charge is kind of okay because it forces them to make a call. Like if you would have hit it. In this case, your team wasn't really fully on board, and I would say you definitely always want to push this. You could have maybe like if they were on board with you, it would have been the perfect play. If they're not on board, then maybe you want to like look to play defensively, but going for these spawn kills is always super helpful. Just like communicate it with your team. And once again, 2000 HP, 2000 HP shield, 100 HP like life. Things get rough with like one off angle there.
I think we're playing more. We're playing more group now. Like we weren't playing that group in this. Like, we're stacking a lot more on me.
Aaron's having a fun time.
As in, like they're putting more resource onto you and like more following you in terms of like.
Yeah. Like we're all grouping up. Like we're all grouping up like heavily. So we're playing goats better.
I see. That's good. That always comes with practice, of course, but it's definitely helpful that we got that going. Right. So one thing here, once again, you like say earlier, you want to go for EMP slam.
Yeah.
Okay, we got the MP Slam.
EMP slam, let's go. Let's get it. So, by now we just tell, like, once again, you just want to tell Ritter, like, hey, we have EMP slam, let's just set it up, right? There's like a lot of, like, flooded chat right now, but I just want to be able to talk to one another. I actually want to do it actively.
Yeah.
In this case, it seems like you're really eager, like, to use it at any given moment, right? Like, I'm just going around the corner as soon as that EMP lands with the speed boost, and we're going to go in. But it takes, like, a long time, so definitely look to talk to your to Ritter in this case. It's like, yeah, I'm looking to go down, my shield's down, I need it. And then it ends up landing, and it's good focus here. It's good to just set up cleaner again, because it took a long time to set it up. And it's in part maybe because your comms weren't as clean at this moment, because well, we're having like a bit of a fun scrim. But definitely look to set up cleanly there.
They have slam. They have slam as well. They have slam.
You can look to hold by the enemy spawns if you want. There's no need to have like this many bodies on payload. But it's kind of okay still. Okay, the early grabbing, that's nice. Right. I think the plan wasn't really too clean there. Like we weren't too clear what we wanted to do with the grab.
Yeah.
If you were actually saying to your team, okay, want to grab here, what is your plan of approach?
Okay.
What do you mean by our plan of approach here?
Like, so you're putting in a graviton. What do you want to do right now with Reinhardt?
I want to get ult charge, right? That's like the main thing. Because or try and pin a squishy, something through the trans.
How about we rotate left side and pin the Zen out of the way?
That is a big brain play, but yeah, I don't have an excuse for not doing that. I just didn't think of it.
If you like, it's in part up to your team as well, because I think you weren't really expecting this graviton to land.
Yeah.
And maybe neither was the rest of your team. If you set it up early, you can maybe look to rotate to the left, like high ground, if you could call it that. And then you can,
So, sometimes in these like tight corridors, I don't like going for that because then if I mess it up, it's just like, I'm missing out on a load of ult charge, which I could get. Because like their diva's right behind him in the doorway, so like that would have been quite a risky play either way.
Yeah, potentially, but like one diva's not going to scurry away too much, and like if you get booped back to the other side, you still like end up in this position where Zarya's standing right now, and you can still land the same pin on the Reinhardt. And like if you get that Zen out of the way, like in this case,
They would have both died. Yeah.
Yeah, they would have just like instantly. You would have instantly confirmed some kills. I'm sure you don't get ult charge, but I'll take 1 or 2 kills over ult charge any day of the week. Right.
That was playing a little bit aggressive there.
Not per se that your Zen was playing aggressive. Quite aggressive.
D.Va down.
Get the shadow on David. That's good.
Where's our Zen?
He's gonna be in front of you when you get shattered. There.
Oh, I thought that was our brig. Is that
That's
our
a
brig?
brig. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we talked to
Still?
Rio about it. He's a lot better at it now.
Right, but one thing for you personally, if one person gets shattered, it's time for you to like put your shield up and make it very hard for them, like make it very expensive for them to actually get that kill. Because let's say that this person is shattered, there's one team bubble going to be involved, there's Brig and Spire still up, there's a Lucia Amp and like a Zen Orb involved, and it's going to be super hard to actually kill that target if you put your shielding resources into it.
Yeah.
In the same way, if it was anyone else but Brig who got shattered, you can also throw in an armor pack on top of that. In this case, you're like really looking to charge in. Brigitte does get to live because that's how the hero works, kind of, apparently.
Yeah.
But definitely like look to shield it up there and make it very expensive for them to actually confirm that kill and whoever got shattered.
Nice.
So if anyone of your team is shattered and you're not, you want to like play super defensively, just protect them.
Zarya next. Brig.
But do I want to be meeting the Rhine charge when he charges in?
Yeah, definitely.
Get that one.
No,
Okay,
that one definitely.
Because it's just like I get like
I don't know.
sometimes like if I just hold the shield right and then the Rhine comes in and I meet it, it could end up in both me and the brig dying.
Could, but if you have like very clever reflexes, there's still always a wind up time to the charge. I think it's like 0.8 seconds, so you can just look to recognize it.
I know I can meet the charge. It's just like sometimes like meeting it can be a bit dangerous. Maybe it's just better if the brig dies sometimes.
5 of us managed to win.
I mean,
a
either way, like
5v6,
in this case, you, like had a bit of an ultimate advantage. But let's say you're pushing at like a situation where the enemy team has like a significant spawn advantage, right? If you're pushing into that and you lose one member, is that a reset or is it like we're gonna just like go button all the ults? Usually it's like kind of a reset.
If we have ult advantage and we lose one member,
yeah, if ult advantage, but like in most cases, like where the enemy spawn is like right there, especially if you lose one member early, it's quite common to just go for like a bit of a dry fight or a reset just from spots, right? It doesn't matter like too much if you dies or the brig dies in that case, you're still looking for a reset, and as long as you keep as many people alive, you'll be able to farm more ultimates, and potentially if you keep her alive, you're still looking at a 6v6, which is just okay, we can still fight it maybe.
From the car. Well, you guys would.
That's what I'd recommend there.
Get through most of this.
They're gonna leave.
This big eye
Being toxic, this is not big eye because you can see the tip of your hammer.
Whoa.
Once again here, if you're looking for a good early fire strike, top right doorway, there you rarely check it. And you can still go back.
And I'll look out on a west, bap. And it gets in by D.Va. Oh.
Nice.
God, strat she just can't beat.
Right, so we're taking a bit of damage here. I think that, like,
They're running goats.
especially because you do not have a D.Va, you do not want to take like these very open areas where you want to mitigate a lot of damage with shielding. You definitely want to play quite cleverly around corners.
No, it's just because I was going for the second fire strike to get in.
Your team is also still set up super close. Your Sombras are all there.
Let's back up.
I'd say you can like look to hold this early corner if you have your Sombra set up there, or you can look to hold the corner by the mirror here, and then have your Sombra on the high ground and go for a hack. I think those would be the best options there, but holding this open space is pretty rough. Because you're taking like a lot of damage and resources from your team to just look to fall back to a safe position.
What are they doing? They're trying to cleanse Discord, right?
This is kind of good. Like in this case, you're just looking to wait out. Like we can maybe use the shield mechanic a bit more, but we're just waiting to chill up for a bit and just hold the clever angle that we have. This is kind of good.
Max charge.
Yeah. D.Va high ground. Farm D.Va.
Right, this is good. Their D.Va into the brains up. This is what I mean.
Go in.
When a maybe not so clever D.Va has to play against a Sombra. They just forget about like them being hacked or them having to play for a team scout, and that's when like the Sombra goes start to be super effective. But it's in part up to the enemy D.Va.
Yeah.
And we just in our brains out, is it?
That was a bit of a that was a bit weird. Like I will quickly like rewind it almost entirely. So we hold super close here, right? Not ideal.
Alright, they're running goats.
We're getting sensible. We're going back. Or force to use some resource to get back. Like we get armor pack, speed amp. One early bulb from your Zarya.
They're trying to cleanse Discord, right?
Now we're like kind of chilling. It's kind of okay, but we're now like fully resetting because once again we're forced to use armor pack. We still have a low shield, and we need to like use resource to actually hold that position.
I'm just not gonna hold my shield up. I don't have to.
And like I said, I'm not gonna hold my shield up. It's kind of fine if you just stand around this corner and like literally not use it. Then you can save those resources.
Yeah.
Zarya bubble gets used a bit early, so we still have like a lot of. And the self bubble, so okay, so we have like very little resource right now. We only have armor pack coming up. Engaging on this when a D.Va's hacked is like super good, but you do not have Zarya bubbles up, and you may have an armor pack up by now. But like that's just about it.
It's just we're not watching our cooldowns here.
Yeah, like
and also we should have probably engaged sooner, right? Because we've let them get the space between us now.
I mean, like I think maybe the first Lucia amp was maybe not entirely needed, and if you played a bit more behind cover, you would not have needed an armor pack early. Yeah, Zarya just used her bubbles, like, I would say too greedily in that case. He was like looking for charge a bit too much, rather than actually creating space with it. Because to be fully honest, in like goats v goats matchups, if you use your like Zarya bubbles to like block crucial stuns or take like important space, the enemy team is like de facto almost always going to shoot you, so you shouldn't have to worry about your charge too much. Like, there's not really a reason to only eat spam damage if you can also like take some crucial space with it. So we just didn't set up like too well initially, and then we do get like a good kill on D.Va, but then we like actually want to push into this, and I think, like I said, pushing into this with like one man up basically is definitely a good idea, but you need to have the resources for it.
Push them.
In this case, we kind of don't. And as you can see, we didn't get the armor pack initially. We lose our Zarya early on because, well, there's no bubbles in line for us, and we still don't have like proper shield or like own HP. Yeah, so that's just like a bit of team resource management. But like from what I'm hearing from you, you maybe have fixed some of those issues as well, like over the weeks.
Yeah.
And then we just literally lose 2 people to a baby D.Va. That's a bit unlucky.
Yeah, I know. But I'm saying we shouldn't have done that.
Unless she's gonna die here as well. Yeah.
Bro, the Zarya is crazy.
I mean,
It's a Sultaj though.
The Zarya was like really good, like 4.3k. It was like god tier tracking.
Yeah. Could be, but I don't know the players too well there.
No.
In recent times, especially with goats, I'm also a bit skeptical of people's SRs because there's a lot of interesting players around. I think it's good that we're looking for a retake. Yeah.
Inflated. Yeah.
Indeed. Like the retake that we're going to see is quite good. I think using the Transcendence with Brig is definitely good because they have that much more durability. And it's a good strategy. Just recognize they're in that position and going for the spike is good. It's kind of good. Unlucky charge that you get booped around, but it's kind of fine still.
Yeah.
Once again though, look to you lose your shield over your HP. You were on 70 HP or something.
Blocked it.
And you only actually got to use your shield because you got beat dropped.
Yeah.
And a lot of ults get thrown back and forth. But you do like manage to like clean up this fight, which is good, I would say, because you're in most cases like you end up like full holding this, but in most cases the enemy team will take this like first point, so just taking like the extra time there is just quite beneficial too.
Alright guys,
kind of good at your retake.
Hiding up here, going for the pin.
We're gonna have so many regrets indeed.
Wait, no, this makes no sense. I have so many regrets about this strat. Okay, I've made so many.
If you want to do it, you can slide off of cards.
Yeah, I know.
Hiding up here.
So just look to like angle up like this almost, but then actually going to the side of the car. In general, like I said, it's not my playstyle, it's not something I recommend, but if you're going
this
for
makes
it,
no sense.
then
I have so many regrets about this strat.
I literally realised it right here.
I made so many. Okay.
Get 1, get 2.
Go on the Zarya, yeah, nice.
We're getting the focus down, but like, it was a bit of a balls play, and we used some ults to help you out as well, I believe.
Push in.
Yeah, we used, I think, Rally, did we use Beat as well?
No, Beat was used the fight before. We just Rally and one other thing. But this is like kind of good now. Like the fight was a bit weird, if you will, but I think we made the best of what we could by like actually letting you live and
Bumper.
By like actually chasing the spawns. That's good.
Yeah, but it's actually working.
Is this what it's like to beat the Titans? How is this working? Why is this working? It's working.
Once again, setting up for an early fight does not really need too much here. Because you're taking
we
like
just
a lot of
invested
aggressive
6 ults
space.
into one person.
We did. Kappa.
Yeah, that Ryan's got a slam.
Kappa.
Definitely when a team bubble's like wearing out. I think when we like went for the first like eager fire strike from this doorway, I think it's definitely time to give up some positioning. Otherwise, you're like forcing so much resource, and you just need to be like a million times better than a team to make it work.
Yeah, that Ryan's
and then when this team bubble is out, like sending the fire to the pain dance, like get back time.
Oh, it's actually flat.
You could have just probably like drawn this out a bit more without using much, and now we're like instantly using graviton as well. Which kind of like patched up, but you could have maybe even done it without if you played a bit clever. Or a bit more clever. So there's a good pin on the break though. That's okay, it's okay. I'm not gonna blame me for your aim because I'm a main tank player myself as well.
Yo, guys, back up. Actual bumper strat coming out now. Okay, I've got Shatter. Back up, hiding.
Does this go well? I don't remember.
All the way.
Yeah, it's just the enemy like playing foolishly.
Yeah, we don't.
So first things first, if you're like wanting to go for like a Heidi Shatter, you definitely don't want to have your entire team stand up here because it just forebodes it as like, there's something waiting around the corner. Because we're waiting to follow up on something, eh? So definitely like tell your team to position differently if they're going for this type of play. Zen Orb is trackable and so is Armor Pack.
Yeah, I know.
Whoever gave me the armor pack.
And then like Lucia spotted you, but like no one else is just going with the Lucia, so like it ends up working, but purely just because the enemy team is just not
because they should.
Right
if they were organized, they would all push me, right?
If they were organized, they would have just all literally flushed that little doorway and have fun with that. Like we end up making it work, but once again, it's solely because of the enemy mistake, not per se because our own plays like set up neatly.
God tier.
Yo, Rio, you gave me the
Because
armor
now,
pack,
like,
and they were just left.
the last few engagements, we had
They
you
were
hide in
just
that
looked
thing
to the
with a
left,
charge.
they were like, ooh.
You hide in there with a shatter, and now Dark is going to go in there with a grab.
You can do it.
Like,
Yeah.
in this case, it ends up working against
Yeah,
this team.
Dark, hide up there.
Many
Yeah.
teams will just literally check corners without
Yeah,
you
yeah.
even ever done that.
Hide up there, Dark.
So, like, 3 times the charm, like, for many teams, just I'm not even going to allow it to happen.
Yeah.
Alright, they're there.
And if it's going to happen, it's probably not the second time. And this is kind of like the things I'm talking about. The enemy team should definitely realize by now that there's something right around this corner.
Because I'm playing so aggressively.
Because you, Lucio, and Brig are playing so aggressive with a Zen Orb.
Alright, they're there.
Like, what on earth is everyone doing here? If there's nothing waiting around this corner, is what like if I was the enemy team, that's what I'd be thinking. There's 3 people standing like in a totally ridiculous position. So if you look to like go for these sneaky plays, execute them quickly. Because now it's just like you're foreboding too much. Jack, they're going to use something clever.
This is good though.
Okay, pinning the Zen is kind of okay because we don't have a round to pin out away for the grav bomb. In that case, look to set up for a very long pin. Even if you sacrifice your life, it's kind of okay.
Alright, they're there.
There.
So I should have jumped around the car and probably taken the Reinhardt or the Zen out of the
Zen,
grab.
100%, so you can actually get some kills. And it doesn't even mind like the graviton lasts for 3 seconds, the pull effect. So you can like literally just walk around and like actually find the angle on the Zen. It's not even too bad because you have some like span of time you can let's use it with.
Yo, go Ryan.
From here on, just like
Ryan's got stand.
we once
Deep
again
rock
like
up.
we're now kind of forced to retreat because we took a super aggressive positioning and it took a bit of a long time before we set it up. We just have like a superior ult economy coming up and they just have to push in like, unfavorably.
Ryan.
I do end up getting the kills here. It's just going to be cleanup time essentially.
Sorry. Nice.
Good target calls. It's good.
Blocked it.
Good block. It's more passive. I like it. One thing you can look to do, like, it's not too big of a deal right now. If the enemy D.Va is using micro missiles, you oftentimes tend to block them with your body. Blocking them with your shield, especially if there's like support behind you, can be quite helpful. It's a fully committed ability for them, and you can just use it whenever. Your shield.
Singular GG. You're permission for a singular GG.
Right. So this was like a bit more of a stomp in this case.
Yeah.
What composition do you guys usually play? Like, do you actually play the Summer Goats a lot, or do you tend to play different things?
Yeah, the Summer Ghosts is currently our like sort of go-to.
I see.
But currently we've got like we're playing a lot more floats, playing a lot more quad DPS now.
Yeah. Okay.
So like we're going away from the Summer Ghosts a little bit.
I see.
We don't play it as much.
Yeah. Okay.
We because we think Rio's not like the best brig, so like having him on his main role, which is DPS, he pops off like a lot. He's really good on his main role. So that's why the quad DPS is probably more viable for us as like a team.
Could be, yeah. It's always a bit difficult because like some variations of quad DPS exist, but traditionally it's always had like 2 somewhat exploitable heroes. Because like
we do Sombra Farah quad DPS.
Sombra Farah and then the other 2 DPS.
Usually Hanzo Widow or something like that.
Okay, then you have like a setup where you have 3 heroes that are like relatively invulnerable. Like Summer can get the fuck out of the way, Summer can stay the fuck out of the way, and still can Widow if she uses grapple hook effectively. Hanzo is always a bit precarious though, so like the quad DPS Hanzo is never something that I fancy too much, but we have to admit it's been quite effective at quite a few times. I like I guess that you're setting up for your Summer Fair to work quite effectively with the Hammond pile drive, right? One thing to always look out for in that if the enemy team is like has been together for some time and they aren't just like French goats one-trick teams. If they swap to 2-2 dive with like Sombra Genji, they would just literally fuck on your Hanzo 24/7 and then hack your ball, and then have Nano Blade up every single fight basically.
True.
So it's a bit strange. Like on the one hand, I think quad DPS is like an instant counter to goats, but then again, quad DPS itself is also quite counterable again. So that's always interesting.
Yeah.
One thing you can maybe look to do, and it's going to be like in this case, I use like the Summer Goats as an example. If you're looking to set up an EMP Shatter or like a Hack Shatter, I want you and the Summer, of course, to be quite vocal to one another, and the rest of us to kind of quiet
keep
down.
Everyone quiet, yeah.
Like not full on quiet, but you have to actually like, leave the room for you to just set up, because there's like 2 pieces of the like the EMP Shatter. It's a Sombra and the Reinhardt. No surprise there. But they need to actually be able to like communicate to one another set up. But it's going to be something that you'll find very similarly in other compositions as well. So if you're looking for let's name something like again or like a Tracer Winston dive, who's going to be talking a lot to Tracer Winston. If you're looking for like what's it called, like a season 5 dive in which you have to really peel for your support with Lucius Zen, it's going to be those 2 talking a lot. And if you're like playing the quad DPS, you're looking at like a synergy between Forest Sombra and the Hammond in some cases. They want to have those 3 talks. So definitely throughout like some of the more serious footage, I know that you guys are definitely very vocal, which is good, but you can maybe look to add just like a tiny bit more structure as well.
A tiny bit more structure, to the comms.
Yeah, but like in general, your comms are quite good. Like I can hear your target calling is quite fine. You can just like look to add some minor details like up and down calls and specific locations.
We've been doing the location calls now.
Yeah.
So.
But of course I couldn't really like judge the shot calling too much because you have a sub, and well, I can't really fully be the judge on that one to say at least. I imagine it's going well though, so that's good stuff.
Yeah, it's fine.
But definitely look to like get this little like set plays going. So if you're playing a Hammond Far Sombra, have those three talk to one another quite a lot. You say, okay, the Diva's hacking that far, can play aggressively, a Hammond can get the pile drive in. So definitely look to recognize what key puzzles of the composition you have right now. Of whatever composition, just look to see who can like set themselves up quite well together. It's definitely
we've also been we're going to be planning a lot more, like planning the fights pre.
Yeah, definitely. So, like, that's what I noticed. Yeah,
because right here we've just sort of been like winging it, like just going into every fight.
Not really what the enemy ultimate has, and not really sure what you're going to use. Yeah,
but like we just sort of do it by like now that we're changing it up now. It's changed because in OD we sort of went into the 4K the like 4.3K team having no plan, and then like we sort of just snapped and got a plan, and then we took them like right to the very limits.
Yeah.
So
I mean that's definitely something to strive for. Next time you come across such a team with the good planning, we'll just take the win.
Yeah.
Definitely a good thing to aim for, if you will. Right. So to briefly summarize, a couple things you can keep in mind. Looking at like your health and your shield HP with some frequency, or have someone like call you out on the things that are going nasty.
Yeah, the health and shield management.
Yeah. Other things to keep in mind: holding corners like cleverly, so you don't have to like waste resource almost to like maintain a position or to take it.
I do it a little bit, but
I do a little bit, but there's room for improvement every now and then, from what I saw. And then like look to recognize how you can like use those little like clever angles, if you will, to set yourselves up correctly and to get some very ultimate efficient ultimate fights going. You said some minor things about calling, and like I said, you can maybe look to use that slow type of goats play as well, because I think right now the very aggressive main tank is working out quite well. If there's like going to be a meta again, like double sniper and whatnot, where like
I've got to play more passively.
You have to play much more passively, and in a sense also like. Right now it's GOAT, so a lot of teams just fancy like aggression versus aggression. A couple things that you have to keep in mind is that what's it called? There might be teams that are a bit better than you, so then you have to play maybe a bit more defensively. But there might also be situations where the enemy team is not per se like better or worse than you, but their like style of play just counters your like type of aggression or your style of play. And being a bit flexible in that, and that's not like saying full on passive or full on aggressive, but just being able to recognize different play styles and how you can adjust them yourself. So in your case it's Rhino, but maybe your other teammates can also look to do it. It's going to be quite beneficial, because look at it this way: if there's like two GM teams and one of them can only play goats in like one way, and the other can play goats in like 2 or 3 ways with like different play styles, then I already know which goats team is going to win. The other team just has like that much more insight, and that's much more flexibility there. Right. Any questions from your end here?
No, not right now. I might come back to you with some questions if my team has anything, if that's fine. Like,
yeah, that's cool. You can always send a DM, and
it's just
if one of your teammates like also have a bit of a question regarding what we went over or something I said, then they can also DM me as well. That's not an issue. Or they can just submit the questions in Overstudent and just tag me. That's all fine.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right.
And
Cheers.
Stop recording.